Hi, back for another update. This time I just want to show you a bit about deck building. Finally got the deck manager, well, begun at least, roughly working. Before we start going through it, just briefly discuss some of the design decisions that were made. So originally there were going to be 8 factions or so with 4 or 5 themes each. Each theme would have its own unique mechanic or play style that kind of worked for it. The trouble with that was shifting stuff across from Pox and Aura. You'd have themes from factions like Forsaken Waste. There'd be so many choices. You need spirits, zombies, skeletons, liches, worms have a unique playstyle. They should go in. Vampires. Did I say spirits? Don't know. There's loads anyway. And then some other factions have a bit less to choose from, and it becomes a bit harder to sort of pick exactly, if you want to have a balanced number of themes per faction, which otherwise you have people complaining, it's a bit awkward. So what I've done instead, on units I've thrown faction keywords in along with a keyword for their race and their class if they have one, and anything else that's of interest. So something like the Spitter has a marsh faction, which is like Fourglass Swamp, an Anarine race keyword, a warrior class, and conditions and abilities can just proc off those or relate to those as you like. The other thing with the keywords is that building a battle group, rule 3, all champions must share a keyword. So as soon as we add a champion, it has a large number of keywords, but the next champion you add or any other champions have to share at least one of these keywords with it. So chuck in another one. These two are all grassland, so they're like from a grassland faction. They're all Kata and they're all Ratakata, if you like. That's sort of their theme. Mogagahern, race, faction. Now, if you're building sort of like a meta BG, you'd probably be focusing on just everything with grassland. It would be a wide range of possible units. If you go more focused, you'll have perhaps a racial theme, or sharing one of those. They'll still have that racial keyword. And the difference it makes is that every relic and spell has to share a keyword with each champion. So at this point, if I jump to the relics, this one here is a Ratakata relic, which makes the rats cheap to deploy. So I have access to that while we still have all these keywords. If I added other grassland units from outside those themes, I wouldn't be able to use this. Okay, if we... let's go for building a Rata style battle group. So you can actually get even more sort of specific. If we go add a bunch of rats, okay, it's looking much like a Ratakata battle group. We could add some cats to this, but if we're going to give up one of the keywords, we've got some other units here which does not have Ratakata. So now it's a rats only battle group, unless we go for the grassland keyword. So if I were to add a cat at this point, we're down to grassland only. So it's just a meta BG effectively. We can have all the basic faction spells, but we no longer get access to the nice little banner. So we'll get rid of those two, those 3. Back to champions. And even more specific, if you're willing to give up all of the generic sort of faction-wide stuff, all those spells like vertical push, you can add, design-wise, make a champion that only has the theme keywords. In this case, we can give ourselves the King Rat, who is kind of fancy. Doesn't show here, but he's got a deployment range of 1, which means you can deploy from him like a font, and some useful abilities. And at this point, when we go to the spells, we can't use anything. We would only be able to use spells that are specific Rata theme spells. So if you wanted to do the opposite of this, going super focused, you could do something like a spell spam battle group, where you pick a unit like this one with heaps of keywords and you don't add any others. Then you've got access to all of the Fairgrass like Kata, Ratakata and Woodland, because it's kind of like a split unit. You have access to all of their spells, but you've had to restrict yourself on the champion side. So that's the idea is that's the balance in the battle group building. Right, hopefully some of that made sense. Thanks for listening.